first team, and they told me that there's some conditions because they want to use him also next year in that case in the World Champs, for example, in the sprint relay. So it's not one day today.
Yeah,
so he will show that he's a member also of the team in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has to prove himself.
Yeah. We haven't told you. Okay. Nope.
Oder müssten wir den irgendwie...
Oh, that's just a talk back.
If we want to talk back, we need... Yeah. Then
But we start 50:43, so it's no problem.
42.
No, it's the opener.
Countdown clock is 42.
Yeah, 50:42 we are live on the channel, and then 50:40.
Aha, the first...
But we start 50:43, so it's no problem.
Mars. Rivella. Mars. Rivella. Mars.
We start 50:43, so it's no problem.
Mars.
We start 50:43, so it's no problem. Yeah, we can hear you. Great. Bum, 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 ba-da, bum, bum. .4 for the women and 3.8 for the men. Says here.
Yeah.
30 meters climb.
Is it that much? Yeah, if we count, these small contours, up and, it's a bit up and down all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Mars.
Show the course quite slowly. And that's
Rivello.
Yeah.
the sequence will take 2.5 minutes. So that's good.
That's long, hey?
Yeah, that's long.
Yeah.
But I think it's good. We get a chance to describe what's waiting for the runners. Lass.
Hej.
Lycka till detsamma. Samma lag liksom. Det är så jävla skönt att se oss. Ja, det blir bra. Om det blir en som toppar och hittar det nu, sen kör vi vidare. Jag tycker vi allihop man ska få lag. Göra allt för att straffa en. Nej. Jag passar in det. Bra. Ja, det gör det.
Ja, vi får se. Det är lite som efter det igen.
Ja, men det såg ju för alla. Det är bra. Vi ses.
Some spectators.
Ja. On time.
Mars. Rivello. Mars. Rivello.
Ursula Kanan, die Startläuferin, macht sich auf ihren Einsatz bereit. Wir sehen Gernot Kersbacher, Robert Merl und die Schweizerin aber...
We are here in Aarau in the canton of Aargau.
Das sehen Sie auch auf dem großen Screen. Die Fernsehübertragung begonnen hat. Machen Sie sich hübsch, schauen Sie, wer rechts und links von Ihnen steht, damit, wenn jemand zu Hause zuschaut, damit das, was Sie dieser Person erzählt haben und das, was diese Person im Fernsehen sieht, auch übereinstimmt. Winken Sie in die Kameras, machen Sie Lärm, wenn Sie diese Kameras sehen. Zeigen Sie, was für eine tolle Stimmung hier in Aarau beim Weltcup-Final 2010 herrscht. Wetterbedingungen für die Läuferinnen und Läufer sicherlich optimal. Ein paar Grad mehr und vor allem ein Regen wäre natürlich ideal. Aber die Bedingungen, es ist ein alter Druck, sind für alle gleich. Man muss damit umgehen können. Und nur die Besten sind in der Lage, sich an die entsprechenden Wetterbedingungen anzupassen. Und wir sehen hier die aktuelle Nummer 10 im Sprint-Staffel-Gesamtweltcup. Heute mit der Startnummer 8. Sinje Oljar, Hakonianis Westergaard, Österreich, Inger Myhre, das Team aus Norwegen. Ja, Applaus ist nicht so groß, selbstverständlich, liebe Zuschauer. Immerhin die Silbermedaillengewinner der Weltmeisterschaft 2015 mit Westergaard und Österreich hier im Team von Norwegen mit am Start. Die Nummer 5 im aktuellen Ranking. Die Starterin, die EM-Goldmedaillengewinnerin in der Frauenstaffel, Sarja Antonen. Dann Junioren-Weltmeister in der Männerstaffel, Topi Reiten, Martin Bostrom und Merja Ranten. Sie repräsentieren Finnland. Mitglied der Frauenstaffel, die an der Weltmeisterschaft in diesem Jahr in August in Schweden die Bronzemedaille gewonnen hat. Und hat auch Gold und der EM gewonnen. Und wir sehen das Team aus Russland, die drittplatzierte des Gesamtweltcups in der Sprintstaffel. Startläuferin Anastasia Rubnaja hat bereits mehrere Medaillen über diese Disziplin sammeln können. So auch die Bronzemedaille an der Weltmeisterschaft 2014. Als Zweitläufer aufgeschlägt für Russland Dmitri Nakonechny, dann Artem und zum Schluss, wir kennen sie alle, Galina Vinogradova, Bronzemedaillengewinnerin letztes Jahr, sowohl über die Kinderstaffel als auch mit der Springstaffel und amtierende Europameisterin über die Springstaffel Russland. Sie alle, Galina Vinogradova, Bronzemedaillengewinnerin letztes Jahr, sowohl über auch mit der Springstaffel und amtierende Europameisterin über die Springstaffel Russlands. Sie alle Carolina Wiener aus Schweden. Die 20 Startläuferin, WM-Bronzemedaillengewinner mit der Springstaffel, Silbermedaillengewinner in der Europameisterschaft mit der Frauenstaffel, unheimlich viele erfolgreiche Orientierungsläuferinnen und Läufer hier vom Team Schweden. Und wir begrüßen nun die amtierenden Weltmeister und Vize-Europameister 2016. Startläuferin Cecilie Berger-Wiesner, Duell Sören Bobach und am Schluss die Sprintspezialistin und fünffache Weltmeisterin Maja Aarau. Herzlich willkommen, welcome and good luck, Team Denmark. Nicht weniger als 19 Weltmeisterschaften und 8 Europameisterschaftsmedaillen sind vertreten in diesem starken dänischen Team. Und die Farben der Klasse bleiben nicht gleich. Aber jetzt, sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, kommt das Heimteam. Die aktuelle Nummer 1, punktgleich mit den Dänen und den Dänen. Sage und schreibe 62 WM-Europameisterschaftsmedaillen. Rahel Friedrich, Matthias Kibus, Daniel Hillmann und Judith Wiener starten für die Schweiz. Matthias Kibus und Daniel Hillmann auf Nummer 1 und Nummer 2 im aktuellen Einzelranking Gesamtweltcup. Morgen und übermorgen auch auf der Strecke nach Konkurrenz. Jetzt aber im Team in der Hoffnung, den nächsten Weltcup Gesamtteam zu gewinnen. Noch einmal Applaus für Team Schweiz. Wir sehen also, die Spannung steigt. In 10 Minuten erfolgt hier der Massenstart zum Finale. Weltcup. Noch einmal die Übersicht und auch die Punkte. Team Schweiz und Dänemark punktgleich mit 240 Punkten, gefolgt von Russland mit 150 Punkten. Und für einen Sieg bei einem Rennen hier beim Weltcup-Finale werden 100 Punkte vergeben. Es gibt also eine Konstellation, bei der Russland sowohl die Schweiz wie auch Dänemark noch überholen könnte. Dafür muss Russland aber unbedingt gewinnen. Etwas anderes gibt es nicht. Und dann, wenn die Schweiz oder Dänemark nur auf Platz 3 wäre, dann würde Russland tatsächlich noch der Schweiz und Dänemark vorbeiziehen. Aber dazu später mehr. Jetzt schauen wir uns diese Karte an. Dominik, erklär uns bitte, was wir hier sehen.
Genau, auf dem Screen sehen wir die heutige Bahn dieser Springstaffel in Purpur-Rot jeweils eine mögliche Variante. Also das könnte die Karte eines Länders sein. Wir sehen aber auch blau-violette Posten drauf. Das sind die angesprochenen Gabelungsposten. Die sind natürlich auf der jeweiligen Laufkarte nicht ausgedruckt, nur wir hier im Ziel sind. Sie sind im Besitz dieser wertvollen Informationen. Also das könnte die Karte eines Länders sein. Wir sehen aber auch noch blau-violette Posten drauf. Das sind die angesprochenen Gabelungsposten. Die sind natürlich auf der jeweiligen Laufkarte nicht ausgedruckt. In diesem Bereich, den wir jetzt gerade sehen, etwas länger. Ich darf dazu nicht allzu viel sagen, weil die weiteren Läufer sonst einen Vorteil haben könnten. Alle, die Speaker hier hören können.
Und der deutsche Sprache möchte dass wir aus Schweden, Norwegen, Dänemark auch noch die Ambitionen auf dem Tisch haben.
Wir sehen also, einige Posten sind auch im Wald gesetzt. Diese Information ist allen Läufern allerdings gegeben. Und dann hier Posten 12, der vorläufig letzte Posten, vorläufig daher, weil da gibt es die angesprochene Zielpassage. Hier im Ziel. Der Kartenwechsel funktioniert für einmal etwas anders, als ich das vielleicht
internationalen Rennen gewohnt ist. Die Läuferinnen und Läufer bekommen von Anfang an 2 Karten ausgeteilt, eine auf der Vorderseite und eine auf der Rückseite. Dann das ganze Spiel nochmal von vorne mit natürlich anderen Varianten. Da wird es dann für uns immer schwierig sein, den Überblick zu behalten. Wir warten dann wieder auf die offizielle Zwischenzeit 2018. Vielleicht einfach mal zur Wiederholung, falls Sie unsere Ausführungen vor ein paar Minuten nicht genau mitverfolgen konnten. Alle Läuferinnen und Läufer, alle Teams laufen am Schluss die gleiche Strecke, aber in einer umgekehrten Reihenfolge, damit man verhindern kann, damit ein Läufer den nächsten einfach nur nachlaufen kann. Diese ist das individuelle Straßennetz, quasi sehen Sie hier auf der Leinwand. Das jetzt die angesprochenen
little mistake of 5-10 seconds, then you are already under pressure and then probably very stressed in such a situation.
This is the team control out there in the on the grass, the 10th and 18th control, and this is the second team control out there in the forest. Very close to
5-10 seconds, then you are already under pressure and then probably very stressed in such a situation.
Aarau, and we are this is the team control. There is not that far away from Zurich. On the grass, the 10th and 18th control, and this is the second team control out there in the forest. Very close to
5-10 seconds, then you are already under pressure and then probably very stressed in such a situation.
Aarau, and we are this is the control. There is not that towns. So how is it with the activity in orienteering in this area of Switzerland, Thomas?
Yeah, it's a big...
On the grass, the 10th and 18th control, and this is the second team control out there in the forest. Very close.
5-10 seconds, then you are already under pressure and then probably very stressed in such a situation.
This is the control out there in the... So how is it with the activity in orienteering in this area of Switzerland, Thomas?
Yeah, it's a big...
On the grass, the 10th and 18th control, and this is the second team control out there in the forest. Very close.
5-10 seconds, then you are already under pressure and then probably very stressed in such a situation.
This is the control out there in the... So how is it with the activity in orienteering in this sprint relay? Tomorrow it's a long distance, also very close to Aarau, and then we have the sprint.
Pressure and then probably very stressed in such a situation.
Aarau, and we are this is the Aarau. There is the. So how is it with the activity in orienteering in sprint relay? Tomorrow it's a long distance, also very close to Aarau, and then we have the sprint.
Pressure and then probably very stressed in such a situation.
Aarau, and we are this is the Aarau.
The route choices, but that's in a 2 days and
the activity in orienteering in sprint relay. Tomorrow it's a long distance, also very close to Aarau, and then we have the sprint.
Pressure and then probably very stressed in such a situation.
This is the to the quarantine.
But that's in a 2 days and
the activity in orienteering in sprint relay. Tomorrow it's a long distance, also very close to Aarau, and then we have the sprint.
Pressure and then probably very stressed in such a situation.
This is the to the quarantine.
But that's in a 2 days and
the activity in orienteering in sprint relay. Tomorrow it's a long distance, also very close to Aarau, and then we have the sprint.
Made some big progress this season, especially European. 2 days and
the activity in orienteering in sprint relay. Tomorrow it's a long distance, also very close to Aarau, and then we have the sprint. Round in front there, and the Austrian team also. And you have to
the 2 days and
the activity in orienteering in sprint relay. Tomorrow it's a long distance, also very close to Aarau, and then we have the sprint. Round in front there, and the Austrian team also. And you have to
the 2 days and
the activity in orienteering in sprint relay. Tomorrow it's a long distance, also very close to Aarau, and then we have the sprint.
especially European 2 days and
the activity in orienteering sprint relay. Tomorrow is the long distance, also very close to Aarau, and then we have the sprint.
This season, especially European 2 days and
the activity in orienteering sprint relay. Tomorrow is the long distance, also very close to Aarau, and then we have the sprint. Team also,
especially European 2 days and
the activity in orienteering sprint relay. Tomorrow is the long distance. To have 3 teams. That's the limit. From we have sprint. Second team and third team for the other countries. Also,
especially European 2 days and
tomorrow is the long distance. Member of the World Championship team in Sweden, and Sabine Hauswit on the last leg. It's a very strong team.
yes, of course, that they are able to run for the victory. European 2 days and the paper, today's race, Switzerland won. Clearly the best team they can set up in Sweden just now.
And Sabine Hauswit on the last leg.
But
and Denmark with the very same team, all sprint relays this season. That's impressive.
Yeah, that shows a good continuity, I think. Yeah, none of them has been injured or sick or something like that. They are always ready when it comes to the important sprint relays, and that shows a bit that they have the focus on that kind of race.
This season. A little bit more than a little bit more than 1 minute to start now, and as you can see, it's very narrow this area. And here's Switzerland with Rahel Friedrich on the first leg. She looks focused, a little bit nervous, I think.
Yeah.
And Cecilia Friberg-Klüstner, who have really shown this season that she's very good, because last year it was Emma Klingeberg who ran in the sprint relays for Denmark, but now Cecilia Friberg-Klüstner and Anastasia Rudnaya. And this is Lina Strand, also a member of the Swedish bronze medal team in Sweden earlier this year in Strömstad. And Finland, don't forget Finland, Sari Antonen on the first leg for the Finnish team. Also a quite strong team, Finland. So 5 teams in every row here, and it's quite narrow now. It's 15 seconds to start, 15 seconds. So the World Cup finals here in Aarau. So, the start of this sprint relay here in Aarau, Switzerland, with Rahel Friedrich. Isia Basset for France with a very good start with bib number 9, as you can see. And bib number 20 also, very fast start from Sarina Jenser in the Swiss 13. And now we'll be very interested to see this 4 forking in the beginning of this leg. As you said earlier, Thomas, it will split this field a lot.
Yes, and I really wonder now how they will act in such a situation.
Very optimistic start there from Rahel Friedrich. She pushes very hard from the beginning. And now we can see they are spreading out. And Rahel here with bib number 1 for Switzerland, the favorite team Switzerland. In the total overall standing in the Sprint Relay World Cup, it is the very same, 240 points for both Denmark and Switzerland. So the first team to the finish today will win the overall Sprint Relay World Cup.
Yeah, that's simple and very clear. So, yeah, Rahel pushes quite hard here in the beginning.
She does. Through this building. And Finland, France, Sweden, Russia, and one more team. Lithuania, maybe. I think it was out in Kukaite in a mixed team. Now this is a very good overview over the area between these big buildings.
Yeah, we can see it's a park-like area in between these big buildings, and much about the route choices in between the buildings, and now we see how they have spread up all over for this first forked controls.
Very hard to evaluate something from that tracking in the beginning here. But you can see they are running through the buildings. And also very unusual with this kind of forking, but you can see most on the right here on the map is 2 forkings, and to the left is other 2 forkings, and it should be the same running time.
Yeah, but it's hard to see from the map. But I think the course setter, they have measured it, that it's more or less the same distance in between these forkings. But still, I wonder now when they come to control 5 or 4, 5, what we said before, when it's the first control, they come all together again.
I wonder about Elena Rose. It looks a little bit strange, her tracking there. But maybe she punched that control.
Yeah. Just now we can see this some clear little groups with 4 or 5 runners. I think there was only one of the Norwegian runners, Bjørgol, a little bit behind what I have seen. She might have made a small mistake in the beginning.
Lina Strand, as you can see, for the Swedish first team, out on the right there.
And there are some micro route choices liked often in these urban areas. When you have a building or a fence, you have to decide, go I left, go I right. If you decide quickly and go let's say straight your decision, then you it cannot lose much time, but you always have to take such decisions.
And now we have the first TV split. Sari Antonen for Finland, Rahel Friedrich, Caroline Olsson for the Swedish second team, and Lilian Forsgren also for the Swedish third team. And now they are approaching the first TV control with Finland in front. Switzerland, Sweden. This is Rodnaya for Russia, and then Lina Strand, and then also it was Arina Jenser, I believe, for Switzerland. And as you can see, all the big teams. There is Cecilia Friberg-Kluster, Denmark. And Denmark at that point of the course, let's see. It should be more than 20 seconds behind. Yep, because she's behind Poland there. Poland was 17 seconds behind. So a little bit more than 20 seconds behind is Denmark and Cecilia Friberg-Kluster already here. A little bit surprising. And the Czech Republic also. Jana Knapova for the first team, 48 seconds behind. That's a lot.
Yeah, still some few runners, but with some rather big mistakes now on this first controls.
And now they are going a bit north in this area and will head out in the small forest, as you can see here. And Klusner, as you can see, Denmark in the end of this big first group. And now the next control is common.
Yeah, but she's still in contact with the group, Klusner, so I think she's physically a quite strong runner, so I think for her now it will be possible to close up and come back into the group. And
Hornick maybe with a misread on the map. Yeah, she's running around there, but it's take a long time.
Yeah.
Too long.
I think this middle green area is probably more crossable than what it seems to be on the map. But of course it's the first steps they do in this little forest part. So yeah, you need first to gain some experience. She was a bit more careful than the others by running around, but she lost time, that's clear.
6.5 minutes running right now since the start. And very soon we will have the next TV split. And now we can see Lilian Forsgren for the Swedish team, Lina Strand on the left runs for the first Swedish team. And then we have Sarina Jenser and Elena Rose. But not Rahel Friedrich. Rahel Friedrich is coming also. All three Swiss teams, Finland, Russia, Sweden. And here they are. And here is Cecilia Friberg-Klusner. It was a great run there. 9 seconds behind. 10 seconds behind. 10 seconds behind. And Norway, the last team there, we had Lone Brochmann, 17 seconds behind. So Klusner in contention once again. Let's see then, this is Ida Marines Björgull.
Yeah, for the second Norwegian team, she's a little bit back.
And Alexandra Ornik, the youngster, the junior from Poland. 40 seconds behind, and this is Jana Knapova right there. And Knapova now 45 seconds behind. She was 48 seconds behind, so has picked 3 seconds since the last TV split. And now they are heading south again, and very soon they will have the arena passage, and then out on the second loop.
Yeah, that's another, it's a quite technical area there, the second last control of this first loop.
And Lina Strand from Sweden, the first team to passing through the arena here on the first leg in this sprint relay here in Aarau. And then Lilian Forsgren right behind. Sarina Jenser for the Swiss third team. Caroline Olsson for the Swedish second team. Lilian Forsgren is running for Sweden 3, but she's the only member in that team. Sarina Jenser, Lilian Forsgren, Caroline Olsson, Rodnaya. This is Elena Roos and Rahel Friedrich, Austria. Also quite good start here on the first leg for Ursula Kadan. Silje Ekroll Jaren, you saw also the Cecilia Friberg-Klusner. And now out on the second loop. And on the second loop, Thomas, they will not go up in the forest. So we're right now around these buildings and the grass areas.
Yes, and of course they have now the different forkings than what they have had on the first leg. And here we can see Lina Strand has now on her second loop the same control as Rahel Friedrich on her first loop. And yeah, she was not quite ready when she arrived to the control. Had to check once more when leaving the control, and of course she should prepare that already before, but that shows up now that they start to become a little bit tired now. It's,
I think so.
Time 10 minutes, yeah, what's that? Almost
yeah, exactly 10 minutes.
And then you can feel it starts to hurt.
And now from this drone, we have these pictures.
We can have a look on the very top on these high buildings.
And back to the tracking again, where we see Finland, Sari Antonen, Finland 1.
And already now on this second loop, Finland 1 is totally alone there, as it seems. No, it's Denmark who is together with her, but this four kings, they really split up the field.
As you know, regarding the GPS tracking with the big buildings, it can be some reflections. Now we can see some of the teams out there in the right and the eastern part of this area. Lina Strand, as you can see, Sweden 1. Austria 1, behind Lina Strand there is Ursula Kadan. Finland, Denmark and Russia 2, Sweden 2, Switzerland 1, France 1.
Yeah, but Lina Strand seems to have opened a little gap now, still of some maybe 10-15 seconds, and that's I think due to a higher speed than the other girls.
And you can see also on the map, if you have noticed that, some artificial fences also.
Yes, But nowadays, runners, they are quite used to that, and I know from several nations that they, of course, also in the training, when they do some training sprint races, they also use this kind of fences to get used to it when it then really counts. But because this artificial fences, they are not natural, so it's not easy for them to recognize it on the map. In fact, as we see now, it's a bit hard to see, but there is one big fence at the place which you don't have usually a fence.
Elena Roos for Switzerland 2, Anastasia Rodnaya for Russia, and Lina Strand, the 3 first teams right now. And then we can see Austria also, and Switzerland with Sarina Jenser also heading on to the TV split here on the second loop on the first leg. So Sweden is 3 seconds behind. Ursula Kadan and Sarina Jenser for Austria and Switzerland 3. They are 8 seconds behind.
Yeah, and Switzerland 1 is a little bit further back now. Rahil lost some time, so
she's
there
here.
Is, some work to do for Matthias Kiburtz and then Daniel Hupman on leg number 2 and 3.
23 seconds behind is Rahel Friedrich for Switzerland 1. 23 seconds behind. So it's a gap. Alfrina Kutkaite for Lithuania. Here is Rahel Friedrich. Behind both the other Swiss teams. Helena Roos and Sarina Jenser. And now they are approaching the last controls here on the first leg. Very soon 14 minutes running. Lina Strand now in front. Elena Roos and Anastasia Rodnaya. And we talked about the Swiss second team, Thomas, and it's a great start here with Elena.
Yes, they want to prove something.
Yeah, of course. I'm not surprised.
No, that's good. It's a really positive dynamic in the Swiss team with this some young runners developing very well and making some pressure on the big stars. But it's really hard for these young guys, you know, to make one of the places in the World Championships individual race. There we have only 3 places per nation, per discipline, and it's really hard if you have Kiburtz and Hupman who wants to run all the individual races.
It's a very strong finish here from Lina Strand, Sweden, in lead after the first leg. And Emil Svensk now heading out on the second leg. Andreas Kiburtz for Switzerland 2. And Russia with Dmitry Nakonechny on the second leg. Gernot Terschbaumer for Austria, very interesting. With a great first leg from Ursula Kadan.
Yes, excellent. I'm really impressed by her.
Great to see Austria. Finland, Sweden, and Cecilia Friberg-Klusner and Rahel Friedrich. Denmark and Switzerland. They are together, the 2 combatants of the overall World Cup win. And they are 29 seconds behind. 29 seconds behind. Here's another group with Lithuania, Alfrina Kutkaite, Austria 2, Finland 2, with Anna Hataja, the junior world champion this summer. And here back to the front again, Emil Svensk, the youngster, the former junior world champion in middle distance. And the Swedish champion last year, a little bit.
Yeah, some little hesitation. But as I said before, it's these passages in between these long buildings. You can recognize them quite easily on the map, but then it looks all the same on the front of this building. So that's really challenging to be sure that it's the right point to cross this building.
And we can't see Sweden here on this GPS tracking from Emil Svensk. But interesting with Switzerland with Matthias Kiburtz now, and Denmark with Tue Lassen. And they were heading out together. And that's good.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
Here's France.
Kiburtz had now a bit shorter forking to the first leg, but which will be compensated quickly on the second control already.
And we don't have Sweden 1 in this GPS tracking 2 last and for Denmark. Finland on this second leg now with Topi Raitanen, the very talented junior. And a really, really good runner, Topi Raitanen. Austria with a great first leg from Ursula Kavan. Gernot Kerschbaumer now on the second leg for Austria with a great start there. Norway, as you can see also, Silje Ekeröljare, and now on the second leg Håkon Jarvis Westergård for Norway 1. And it's quite a big split also.
Yes,
in the field. And here we have the current standings after the first changeover, with Sweden and Lina Strand as the fastest.
I really wonder now how the two Danish runners will do, Tue Lassen and Søren Bobach. You know, physically less strong than the two Swiss guys, Matthias Kliborts and Daniel Hupman. But the two Danish runners, they have a really well-developed technique in these sprint races. They get this fluent running. They hardly ever do any mistakes. So let's see if they can also perform like that in today's race.
And in the pouring rain, Emil Svensk, Sweden in lead, and Matthias Kiburz with a great start now in the back of Gernot Kerschbaumer. It was Andreas, sorry. It was Andreas, yeah. It was the bigger brother, Andreas Kiburz. They are 8-9 seconds behind. 2 last for Denmark, right there. Topi Raitanen for Finland, and here is Matthias Kiburz for Switzerland, and they are 26 seconds behind. So Emil Svensk is running good in the front right now. The Swede
does a great job so far.
And I think with this pouring rain now, it is quite slippery in the grass. And it's a quite big spread.
Yeah, there is now this group has already quite clear behind, almost 1 minute now.
Yeah, 57 seconds behind is France with Frédéric Tranchon here on the second leg for France. But Sweden with Emil Svensk in lead. Norway with Håkon Jarvis Westergård is 27 seconds behind at the first TV split here on the second leg. Now we have Sweden 1 in this GPS tracking.
And we see two completely different route choices by Austrians Kerschbaumer and the Swedish
Emil Svensk. Right or left?
Yeah, this longer leg now only for the men, and that's a real route choice. You can go right or of course also left. But this middle green area, if you go to the left, you have to cross that one. And let's see now how Emil Svensk, what he thinks. But we lost his GPS.
Yeah, now he's back
just for a few seconds.
And he is running. They are running right here. Yep, they are. And here are some pictures from the different route choices here between the 7th and 8th control for the men. And this is the right route choice.
Yeah, and it's of course very runnable on this little track, fast and not that difficult to execute. But now you must find the right spot to go into the right to the control. But it might be even visible from the little track, so not such a difficult area in there. But as you said before, Per, it's high-speed orienteering, and together with the fatigue, also the mistakes can come.
And so we will have the second TV split, and all the runners here on the second leg have chose the right road choice to that 8th control here on the second leg. And now we can see Emil Svensk from Sweden and Andreas Kiburz for Switzerland 2 and Gernot Kerschbaumer for Austria. They are pushing very hard here in the 3 top teams right now. They are running very good.
Yes, and I'm much impressed by Emil Svensk. You can see when you see him running, a very good, effective running style, good economy in running. So yeah.
Here's Switzerland with
He's
Matthias
fast.
Kiborts, right now in 4th position. 18 seconds behind now. 18 seconds. So he has picked 10 seconds. And here's Håkon Järvis Westergaard from Norway, struggling a bit right now. There's Russia also. This is the Russian second team with Konstantin Serebryansky. So 11 teams. And here we have Matthias Kiborts and Tue Lassen, Switzerland and Denmark.
Yeah, Kiborts has now taken the lead of this sect group, chasing group. And also William Lind there from Sweden. And this is a young Swiss runner, Jonas Ecker, very promising development this year. And this is a well-earned place for him in this Swiss World Cup team.
And so they are back for the passing through the arena. And it should be still, jajamensan, Emil Svensk, Andreas Kiborts, and where is Gernot Kerschbaumer for Austria? Switzerland too, there is. The pace is very good from these three guys. And now Andreas Kiborts is helping Emil Svensk also. But as you can see, Matthias Kiborts is pushing very hard down there.
Yeah, he doesn't let his brother go. He wants to catch him.
So Matthias Kiborts with Denmark and Tue Lassen. Topi Raitanen, William Lind for Swedish second team. And Dmitry Nakunikny for Russia. So out now on the second last loop here on the second leg. It's quite demanding because the gaps is quite big in this competition right now.
Some little hesitations now there, Andreas. But now he has a good control again.
And Emil Svensk is on the other side of the building, on the other forking, because we saw Emil here on the first loop. Topi Raitanen for Finland. We have the back of Andreas Kiborts in Switzerland too. Some seconds ahead.
Yeah, now we can see there's most of the runners now are running alone, totally alone for a while. They might see the other runners a bit farther away, but no direct contact, so that's a rather special situation in such a sprint rally in the early part of the race. Of course, towards the end, then it's more common and more usual that you do almost an individual race.
Because of this forking also, it's very hard to compare the teams right now when they're out there in the beginning of the loops.
It's almost impossible to say who is really in the lead.
And I can't see the GPS from Andreas Kiborts, Switzerland too, in this picture right now. No.
And of course, it's special that it's as it is a mixed relay women-men. That's the only discipline, and quite a young discipline, where men and women of a national team compete together actually and prepare together a race. And I know that the Swiss team has made a special program this year, bringing together a group of men and women, and they had to a little bit work out the specialities of this discipline and to make them stronger, because they probably were not that satisfied to be always or sometimes beaten by Denmark, so they invested a bit more in that. But it can give a good dynamic in a national team if women, men need to cooperate because they compete in the same race afterwards.
And look at Matthias Kiburtz. He is chasing very hard. Andreas Kiburtz for Switzerland too. Emil Svensk for Sweden. And Matthias Kiburtz now in third spot. And he is pushing so hard right now. Very impressive from Matthias Kiburtz. Jan Kershbaumer struggling a lot. Jonas Egger there for Switzerland together with Tue Lassen for Denmark. And they are 14 seconds behind only. And Norway on his way into that TV split also, Håkon Järvis Vestergaard. And this Russia has not been able to follow.
Yeah, he has lost some time on the second leg now.
And as you can see, very soon Matthias Kiburtz will be in company with Andreas Kiburtz and Emil Svensk. Andreas Kiburtz and Matthias Kiburtz, they ran together in the sprint relay winning team in Wroclaw in the World Cup, the first sprint relay this season. And very soon now, the last control and the changeover for Switzerland 2, Sweden and Switzerland. And now it is a gap behind Matthias Kiburtz.
Yeah, Matthias was the only one now able to close this gap to the leading runners. Gernot Kershbaumer fell back, but Matthias Kiburtz was able to close up.
And a strong finish from Emil Svensk. So Sweden still in lead. Jonas Leandersson heading out now for Sweden. Florian Hovald for Switzerland 2. And Daniel Hopman for Switzerland. And here's Finland, Topi Raitanen. With Sweden 2, William Lind. So Morten Boström. And Sara Hagström, because it's only 3 members in that Swedish... it is 4 members, but 3 girls. And Tue Lassen, Denmark's coming here. And Denmark right there. And they are 26 seconds behind when Søren Bobak heading out on the third leg for Denmark. And Norway straight behind Denmark. And here's Florian Hovald in the Swiss second team. He was a member of the Swiss World Champion team.
But here we can see how he's busy with the map reading in the beginning of the course. He had very little time to prepare and had a short first control and seemed to be a bit stressed just now. But no obvious mistake, so yeah, must be a good start for him still.
And some replay action from Matthias Kiburtz with a great second leg from Matthias. He was only 22 years old when he won both World Championship gold in Lausanne, the sprint, and the overall World Cup title that year. Matthias Kiburtz.
And after this first individual World Champion title in 2012, he had to wait quite a long time till this year now when he won the middle distance in Sweden in the World Championships.
And the standings after the second leg in this sprint relay here in Aarau, Switzerland, with Switzerland 2, Sweden, Switzerland. Top 3 right now. But we know that Denmark is not that many seconds behind, and we know that Denmark on the last leg have Maja Alm. Back to the tracking again, and now on the third leg with Daniel Hopman for Switzerland. Jonas Leandersson for Sweden. And for Switzerland 2, Florian Hovald. 3 first team to the changeover. And Florian Hovald is the only one on the left gaffling here in the beginning.
Yeah, but it could be now that Hovald and Daniel Hopman, that they come together at the next control.
And here is Florian Håvald for Switzerland too. Took
all alone. All alone.
He's really all alone. Yeah. He's all alone right now, Florian Håvald. Quite a big lead. Because here is Daniel Hopman and Jonas Leandersson. And they are now 19-20 seconds behind. Oh, that was a lot.
Yeah, interesting.
And here is Robert Merl for Austria.
Could have made a mistake, but it's also possible that this inner forking, the bit more on the left side, if the map is shown to the north, that is a bit the faster forking.
Yeah.
It was hard to recognize on the first leg with the women because it was very crowded, but this could still be a possibility. But of course Daniel could have made a mistake as well.
Søren Bobak and Denmark 46 seconds behind. 46 seconds behind. So that means he is 26 seconds behind Switzerland because of Maja Alm on the last leg. That's very interesting. Oi. It was the end of the second leg there for Italy. So 10 teams so far. Finland and Lucas Basset for France. So Florian Håvald for Switzerland too. And Sabine Hauswirth, the last leg runner for Switzerland too. Lucas Basset passing through the building.
And we can see the runner when they run around the edges, how carefully they run.
Yeah.
It really seems to be slippery now.
And as you can see, Switzerland too, Florian Håvald. And then we have Switzerland and Sweden, sorry. Daniel Hopman and Jonas Leandersson. And now I think Hopman is running left here, or is it a mistake?
It can also be that he needs to find
something
out
with
there
the GPS tracking also.
out of the building first.
And now Håvald can't be right, or?
No, that must be some mistake of the at
must
least
be.
I hope so for him. You never know. But he couldn't.
No, you're not allowed to cross that water in the sprint distance. No, there's something wrong with that GPS tracking from Florian Håvald. Must be. Very soon we will have the pictures from the next TV control. So let's see now, Switzerland and Sweden. But Florian Håvald, the lead was over, it was 20 seconds, and here is Florian. Here is Florian for Switzerland too. And to the next TV control here on the third leg, but it's less now. Jonas Leandersson, you can see there in the back. And where is Daniel Hopman? There, in the left of this picture. So Leandersson and Hopman, Sweden and Switzerland. A little bit less now. It was 20 seconds. Now it is 11 seconds. And there's a new gap down to Austria with Robert Merl and Martin Hopman for Switzerland 3. 3 Swiss teams among the 5 best right now. That's impressive.
Yeah, they had some in the autumn season now. There were several quite important races on the national level, let's say, but still the runners took these races serious. They went on with training, and most of them, I guess, are in physically quite good shape for this very final World Cup round here.
And this is this trick area you talked about earlier, Thomas.
It's with these small little tracks in between the buildings. You really need to be prepared. If you are a little bit in a defensive map reading position, you can quickly lose up to 10 seconds, and to gain that back just by running, that's a very hard task. It takes you maybe, even if you are a very strong runner, it takes you 2-3 minutes to win that time back.
So Switzerland 2, still in lead. Florian Hovald, Jonas Leandersson for Sweden. And where is Daniel Hopman? There he is. There he is. But some seconds behind now. Some seconds behind.
Yeah, there was no forking, you know, since the last camera control. So he seems to lose physically to Leandersson on these controls.
Leandersson, Sweden, 8 seconds behind. And Daniel Hopman 12 seconds behind. There's Austria and Switzerland 3 with Robert Merl and Martin Hopman. Martin Hopman, he was a member of the gold medal team in Trento, the first world champs in sprint relay. So Martin is a world champion in this discipline, and Robert Merl also hard now to follow Martin Hopman. Quite easy legs here for Jonas Leandersson.
He looks very strong, Jonas.
Hopman, a little bit longer here, as you can see. Czechoslovakia Wojciech Kral for the Czech team. And back to the GPS tracking. Jonas Leandersson for Sweden, Daniel Hopman for Switzerland. And we can't see Florian Hovald and Switzerland too in this GPS tracking.
And Daniel ran now quite far there to the right. He had to do so because there was this fence, but still it looks to me a bit not as the optimal route choice. Could lose some seconds more.
Magnus De Wet is this from Denmark. Denmark second team with the Tessa Strain from Great Britain on the last leg. So 3 Danish runners in that team. So very soon we will have some pictures from the TV split here on the second loop on the third leg. Sweden will Helena Jansson on the last leg. For Switzerland 2 is Sabine Hauswirth. For Switzerland, Judith Vida. And the most interesting thing is Denmark with Maja Alm on the last leg, Thomas. She can pick seconds.
Yes, for sure.
Many seconds.
Yeah, let's see how shape it is that far in the autumn. But it will be interesting against Judith. But Judith is in good shape. That she has proven that in some races recently. Judith Wieder, and she's very motivated, I guess, for today's race.
Jonas Leandersson, is he first now? Yes, indeed. Jonas is first now, Sweden. And then we have Florian Hovald for Switzerland 2, sorry. So Jonas Leandersson did a very great second loop.
Excellent, but it proves also that Florian did a very good race, because he was now on these 2 loops, he was both times alone. And Leandersson had some contact with Hopman, but Florian Hovald chose a very strong race here.
And Daniel Hopman is not that many seconds behind. He found some speed again, I think, Daniel Hopman. Leandersson, Hovald, and there is Hopman. And behind these 3 teams, it is a quite big gap. So Sweden, once again, they are showing great performance in a sprint relay. They are very good in this.
Yeah, especially I think the Swedish men have an excellent sprint group. They have proven it many times, and
so now we are waiting for the changeover. Very soon the last leg from this World Cup final, and Jonas Leandersson is pushing hard here now in this pouring rain here in Aarau. Florian Hovald for Switzerland too, with Sabine Hauswirth on the last leg. Helena Jansson will take care about the last leg for Sweden. And Daniel Hopman will send out Judith Vida. So let's see the gaps now. Down to Switzerland 2, it's 4 seconds, and down to Switzerland with Judith Wieder 8 seconds behind. So Sweden, Switzerland, Switzerland.
Close race. Let's see now what Søren Bobach can do on the last part of the race. If he can limit the gap to these leading teams.
Right now it looks good for Switzerland. Here is Martin Hopman for Switzerland 3. So now we have 3 Swiss team among the 4 best after 3 legs, because Robert Merl not able to follow Martin Hopman in the end of this leg. So Martin Hopman there, Julia Gross on the last leg for Switzerland 3, and Laura Rammstein for Austria. And still no sight of Søren Bobach and Denmark. Into the changeover. We're waiting for Russia now. Artem Popov to Galina Vinogradova.
Robert Mell with a good race here in this sprint relay.
And here's Norway and Finland, but no sign of Denmark. It's more than 1 minute. Norway and Finland 1:13 and 1:14 behind. Ingjerd Myhre for Norway and Maria Rantanen for Finland on the last day. Here is Søren. Here is Søren Bobach and Denmark, and this is very interesting. It's a lot of time here. It's 1 minute and 31 seconds. That sounds a bit too much to me.
Even for Maja Alm.
Yeah, even for Maja Alm.
Who knows, as we have observed several times in relays, men and women, you know, when it comes to the last leg, when it comes to the final decision to the finish, then suddenly the runners start to become nervous, more nervous than on the legs before, where they always can think, oh, there is another runner going out and it's not yet the decision. And then quite often some bigger mistakes can happen.
But for sure, she will give it a chance. She will push very hard here in the beginning. And the hunt is ongoing for Maja Alm and Denmark right now. We don't have any connection with Denmark. That's a pity, of course.
We can see Judith Wieder there out on the right side on the screen. On one what we thought to be a little bit longer forking on her first loop. We can see how difficult it is to stop before the handover on this slippery road for this young Norwegian runner.
And as you can see from this GPS tracking, they are all over the place right now. Switzerland 1 with Judith Wieder. Switzerland 2, Sabine Hauswirth. And we don't have Sweden right now in this GPS tracking with Helena Jansson. And Switzerland 3, Julia Gross on the last leg for Switzerland 3. Now we can see Maja Alm and Denmark. And here is Judith Vida. And Helena Jansson.
Yeah, they are in contact still, the two.
I think it will be hard for Helena Jansson to follow Judith Wieder. She's trying really good right now. And here's Sabine Hauswirth for Switzerland 2. And the gap down to Switzerland 2 and Sabine right there. I didn't get that punch in the graphics. It was approximately 11 seconds
But still, if you think that Judith started a little bit behind these two other girls, she has certainly, I would say, the better speed now on these first controls.
And we remember 1:31 was a gap down to Denmark and Maja Alm. The changeover. Here's Julia Gross for Switzerland 3. There's Russia with Galina Vinogradova. Vinogradova right there, 1:13 behind. And we can't see Maja Alm yet. There she is, there she is. There's Norway, Ingegerd Myhre. 1:28 behind, Maria Rantanen for Finland. And Maja Alm, she hasn't picked any seconds yet. 1:34 behind is Finland, and Denmark with And here's Helena Jansson, and Sweden into second spot.
Yes, she secures the second spot, no problem for her.
And that means they should be in third place in the overall World Cup standings in the sprint relays. Also second spot in Wroclaw in May. And Helena Jansson together with Lina Strand, Emil Svensk and Jonas Leandersson. And the Swiss second team in third place. We talked about them before the two competition, and it was a strong team. Impressive, I must say. Jelena Roos, Andreas Kibors, Florian Hovalt, and Sabine Hauswirth.
Yeah, these young runners are strong, but not yet as strong as the older and more experienced ones. We have to say Matthias Kiburz is not that old either, so of course, and Judith, we don't know, not at all. But still, it's Elena Roos and especially Florian Hovald. I think they want to climb up to the very top of the world's best orienteers. Let's see if they succeed.
But it is quite big gaps, Thomas, in this sprint relay.
Yes, but it's not the first time. It's the sprint relays I have observed in the recent years. It was quite often like that, you know, in the beginning when the runners stay together, can take a bit profit of each other. The teams stay together, but once they have to orienteer, compete alone, then the gaps become immediately bigger.
And Switzerland 3 into fourth, and Denmark into fifth position in this World Cup final here in Aarau. 1:55 behind Switzerland. So Denmark in second position in the overall World Cup standings in the sprint relay this season. But it was the worst performance from Denmark this season in the sprint relay, and Ingegerd Myhre won that sprint finish against Maria Rantanen for Finland. So Norway into seventh position, right behind Russia, and Finland into 8th.
Yeah, certainly a little bit disappointing performance of the Danish team finally. And it was on the third leg, Søren Bobach, who lost definitely too much time to stay in the fight for the top positions.
Laura Daunstein for Austria. It's a good performance from the Austrian team in this sprint relay. So Austria into 9th position. And now we have the replay of the last leg with Judith Wider, Helena Jansson and Sabine Hauswirth.
Yeah, but it's a bit, as we can see quickly, it's hard to understand. It will be much better in the forest races coming. But here with these high buildings, the GPS is not functioning that well. And we can see that by these little jumps to the right and to the left. Of course, the runner, they don't do that while running out in the terrain.
And we remember that GPS tracking from Florian Hovald also, it was extremely strange.
Now in the forest it works better, but even here we can see that Judith doesn't seem to really go close to the control was of course wrong. She was always in the middle of the circle, punching the control, sitting there.
So that was the first lap, and this is the second.
Yeah, but it was a nice idea to have these 2 laps. That, as we can see, it gives more possibilities for the forking, and that's quite often that's interesting to see.
It's hard to evaluate the running because of the tracking.
Yeah, if in forest races, there you can, if it's in such a GPS replay, you can quite often you can even recognize a runner having a little bit better speed than the other one. Then you can see that the gap gets bigger and bigger on the ongoing race. But here it's impossible to see. But still, it's very important information to make such races more excited. I like this GPS transmissions. It makes orienteering much more visible and allows the spectator at home before the TV computer to follow the races. And if you are an orienteer yourself, then yeah, you can also try to make your own decisions and then look how the best orienteers do. And that's what I like still like to do, I have to admit myself.
The results from the sprint relay here in Aarau with 3 Swiss teams among the 4 best. That's very impressive. Sweden in second spot, as you can see. And right now we have 14 teams into the finish. Russia 2, 440 behind the winning team of Switzerland. That's very impressive from the Swiss teams. 3 Swiss teams, Thomas, among the 4 best.
Yeah, and it proves that it was also really a hard battle, you know, to make it in the team for this final World Cup round. I'm the personal trainer of one Swiss runner who has not made the team. That's why I know that there would have been some more who had loved to run in this great atmosphere, in these home races. And it's this pressure who makes even then the best ones a little bit stronger in such a final race at the end of the season.
It also proves that the Swiss orienteers are really strong runners also, because it was a lot of running today.
Yes, sure. For many years now, the coaches of the Swiss national team, they invest a lot that all the runners become physically stronger. They have special programs for that, taking part in road or mountain races, but also having tests on the treadmill to get the better control of the physical development of the training. Does it work? Does it not work? Where can be these little improvements which make you stronger on the longer side? Also some physical tests in the field, you know, to be as close as possible to orienteering. So not only on road and track, but also in the terrain, stony areas, up and down the hill.
Some nice pictures from the sprint relay here in Aarau with the Swiss winning team. And please stay with us. I hope we will give you some interviews also in a short while from the winning team especially, and maybe also the overall standing in the World Cup sprint relay.
Yeah, some images from backstage when the analysis starts among the runners. And we have seen, if I've seen right, these are some girls from different nations, even Norwegian girl together with the Swiss girls, analyzing the route choices.
There's always something to discuss in orienteering.
Yes, that's the good thing. Rahel Friedrich, she has announced to make a break in her career. She's not quite sure if she will come back, but she says that she needs a break, needs to do some set the priorities a little bit different from orienteering. But of course there will be the European Championships 2018 in Switzerland, in the south part of Switzerland, and that could be another last goal for her. But next year she will make a break, make a stop, and not compete on international level.
Bei mir ist jetzt der Matthias Nickli, designierter OK-Chef vom Weltcup-Final 2017 in der Schweiz. Wie hast du das Rennen heute mitverfolgt?
Ja, einfach ein bisschen hinter den Kulissen. Ich bin da überall am schauen, wie das läuft. Und von dem her sicher spannend gewesen. Auch mit den Schweizer Resultaten, das ist natürlich immer eine Freude, wenn es in der Schweiz so gut läuft.
Reden wir zuerst über das Schweizer Resultat. Ist das zu erwarten gewesen? 3 Schweizer unter den ersten 4?
Ja, so ist es sicher nicht zu erwarten gewesen, aber man sieht halt, dass das Schweizer Team doch eine sehr grosse Dichte hat. Es ist sicher auch so, dass sie wahrscheinlich speziell motiviert sind, weil es in der Schweiz ist. Aber es zeigt, dass wir im Sprint wirklich die Nation sind, die es zu schlagen gilt.
Dänemark hat den Zweikampf nicht können annehmen, weil es heute für sie nicht so gelaufen ist. Was können aus deiner Sicht die Gründe sein, die dafür sprechen?
Ich denke, sie haben über die ganze Saison sehr gute Leistungen gebracht. Jetzt heute ist es nicht so gelaufen, sie waren von Anfang an nicht ganz dabei gewesen. Und ich glaube, da ist es relativ schwierig. Nachher halt auch mit den Schweizer Mannen sind sehr stark gelaufen auf der zweiten Strecke, dort ein bisschen Lücken aufreißen. Ich glaube, da ist es halt schwierig, wenn man hinten dran ist in Sprintstaffel. Vorkommen ist fast nicht möglich, man muss eigentlich von Anfang an vorne dabei sein.
Schauen wir ein bisschen voraus, nicht nur auf morgen oder auf übermorgen, wenn der Mitteldistanzrennen stattfindet und dann der City-Sprint, sondern nächstes Jahr Weltcup-Final. Was kannst du aus dem Weltcup-Final hier in Aarau schon mitnehmen für dich nächstes Jahr?
Ja, sicher sehr viel. Ich glaube, der Weltcup-Final in der Schweiz in den letzten Jahren hat sehr ein höchstes Niveau gehabt. Wir profitieren von dem, dass es immer eine ähnliche Crew ist, was macht. Das Niveau ist sehr hoch und das ist sicher das, was ich auch nächstes Jahr mitnehmen will. Also wir fangen nicht bei Null an, das ist sehr gut und da können wir darauf aufbauen.
Jetzt haben wir diese Woche auch einen grossen PR-Event auf dem Jungfrau Joch oben. Was war die Idee gewesen, das dort zu machen?
Also einerseits war es sicher eine Promotion für nächstes Jahr. Wir sind nächstes Jahr in Grindelwald. Da passt die Jungfrau Joch dazu. Auf der anderen Seite war es sicher auch eine Vorschau gewesen, oder jetzt auf dem Weltcup-Final zu Aarau. Und sicher auch ein Dankeschön an die Athleten, an die Weltmeister, die ausser der Maja Alma uns wieder oben waren und das haben auch geschätzt. Und ich glaube, da kann man auch etwas zurückgeben und etwas Spezielles auch bieten.
Wieso passt der Weltcup-Final und Austragungsort Schweiz so perfekt zusammen?
Ja, das müssen wir jetzt endlich den internationalen Verband fragen. Wir sind natürlich sehr froh über das. Wir haben eine unglaublich gute Ausgangslage oder eine Präsenz mit dem, dass wir jedes Jahr wieder in der Schweiz sind und so können zeigen, was wir organisatorisch drauf haben, aber sicher vor allem auch für das Team, dass sie können zeigen, was sie eben physisch und technisch drauf haben.
Ganz herzlichen Dank für die Ausführungen und toi 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 für das Jahr 2017. Aber jetzt hoffen wir natürlich noch auf weitere gute Ergebnisse hier am Weltcup-Final in Aarau 2016. Danke, Matthias Nickli.
Danke vielmals.
Matthias Nigli from the organization, a part of the organization here in Aarau. We're talking both of today's sprint relay here in Aarau, but also next year's World Cup finals in Grindelwald.
Yes, this is a famous mountain resort, Grindelwald, close to the, also in the middle of the Alps, and with some very famous mountains close to it, like Jungfrau Joch, but also the Eiger North face, which yes is still a challenge to climb up there. And next year's World Cup final will be there, completely different terrain. It will be a little bit like last year in Aarau. It will be this really alpine forests, and yeah, the organizers always try to vary a little bit, discover new locations here in Switzerland. But of course, it's always a cooperation of this kernel organizing team, this very experienced people, now Matthias Nickli, who follows Brigitte Grüniger-Huber, and in collaboration with a local club, and this year, as I mentioned before, 2 clubs around here from Aarau, and next year will be a big club from Bern organizing this World Cup final.
while you are looking at the GPS tracking from the 4 legs. As you can see, it's a little bit tricky to follow all the GPS tracking here. But one more thing they were talking about, that this week it was our PR event at Jungfrau Joch to get some publicity about next year's World Cup finals in Grindelwald, and it was a beautiful weather up there in the Alps.
Yeah, last week it was perfect autumn weather. I know that because some of my friends had their autumn holidays, and they went hiking into the mountains. It was just perfect weather for doing that. It's a little bit less hot than in the summer, and quite often you have a much better view up in the mountains. But of course, on the same time, you have to be a bit more careful, because when it's suddenly bad weather coming, then it immediately can become very, very cold with some snowfall. But were some nice images from the in the beginning of this transmission, when you could see them running there up in the snow, up on 3,500 meters.
It was very nice pictures, and here's the winning team and also some interviews.
Bei mir sind jetzt die Siegerinnen und die Sieger aus der Schweiz. Wir haben Rahel Friedrich, Matthias Kiburz, Daniel Hubmann und Judith Wieder. Startläuferin war Rahel Friedrich. Wie ist es Ihnen gelaufen heute?
Ich bin sehr zufrieden. Ich bin eigentlich gut gestartet. Ich habe sofort mein Rennen gemacht, meine Posten sauber angelaufen. Merkte dann im Wald, dass wir eine Riesengruppe sind, und auf der zweiten Schlaufe musste ich in meiner Gruppe noch den weiteren Weg machen und verlor so ein bisschen den Anschluss. Aber ich habe gedacht, es kommen noch 3 starke Läufer, und habe eigentlich positiv die Daumen gedrückt.
Der nächste Läufer war dann Matthias Kiburz, der mit einem Rückstand von 28 Sekunden ins Rennen gegangen ist und nachher an die Spitze laufen konnte. Das war eine starke Machtdemonstration.
Ja, es war sicherlich eine sehr gute Leistung. Zu Beginn hatte ich auch ein wenig Schwierigkeiten, auf die Karte zu kommen. Es war nicht ganz so einfach, wie ich es mir vorgestellt hatte. Aber mit der Zeit kam ich immer näher an die Spitze, konnte ein wenig aufschließen, so ein wenig profitieren von den vorderen Läufen. Und ja, nach dem Überlauf hatte ich eigentlich alles im Griff und konnte fast bis zur Spitze aufschließen.
Was heißt das genau, wenn man nicht auf die Karte kommt?
Ja, also ich hatte einfach Schwierigkeiten am Anfang den Rhythmus zu finden, also zwischen schnell rennen und ja genau Karte lesen. Und dann ist man immer so mit dem Rhythmus nicht bereit. Entweder macht man genau das Falsche im Moment, und das war nicht so ideal am Anfang.
Den Vorsprung hervorragend verwalten konnte dann Daniel Hubmann. Auch zufrieden, nehme ich an, mit diesem heutigen Tag?
Ja, eigentlich sehr. Ich denke, ich habe ein solides Rennen gezeigt. Einzige Schrecksekunde war bei der Übergabe. Ich habe da verpasst, meine eigene Karte zu nehmen. Da hat man vielleicht gemerkt, dass mir die Erfahrung in der Sprintstaffel noch etwas fehlt.
Aber sonst kann man sich ja über mangelnde Erfahrung des Daniel Hubmann nicht beklagen. Wie habt ihr euch grundsätzlich auch vorbereitet auf den heutigen Tag? Ihr wusstet, es ist ein Spitzenergebnis, muss her, damit man den Zweitplatzierten Dänemark kann auf Position halten. Wie seid ihr herangegangen?
Ja, also wir haben von diesem Gelände hat eine alte Rollerkarte existiert, so wir haben diese studiert, ein paar Bahnen darauf gelegt, wie es theoretisch aussehen könnte, und so das mental ein bisschen durchgedacht, wie es ablaufen könnte, und ein paar Bilder auf Google angeschaut von diesen Gebäuden da. So haben wir uns in etwa vorbereitet.
Und einen fulminanten Schlusslauf hat dann Judith Wieder hingelegt. Wann haben Sie gespürt, das reicht?
Ja, ganz sicher weiß man das erst im Ziel. Ich meine, ich habe mich wirklich auf meine Bahn, meinen Wettkampf konzentriert, und darum war es wirklich erst, als die 3 auf mich im Ziel gewartet haben, wusste ich, dass der Abstand genug groß ist und dass es zum Sieg reichen würde.
Sie kämpfen ja morgen und übermorgen auch noch um den Gesamtweltcup in der Einzelwertung. War es immer klar, hier auch in der Staffel zu starten?
Ja, für mich war es immer klar. Ich denke, es ist immer ein cooler Anlass. Ich liebe die Sprintstaffel, und die Chance mit Daniel noch zu laufen heute war umso besser. Und von dem her denke ich, es wird mir morgen, glaube ich, nicht irgendwie negativ, also ich werde es wohl nicht, ich hoffe es nicht zu fest zu merken.
Das hoffen wir natürlich auch. Das Siegerteam, die Sieger in der Sprintstaffel 2016 im Weltcup, die Schweiz mit Rahel Friedrich, Matthias Kiburz, Daniel Humann und Judith Wieder.
The winning team into there in German, as you noticed. Something to translate, or Thomas, what do you think?
Yeah, there were 2-3 interesting points. You know, Matthias Kiburt said that he had a nervous start, that it was this
some highlights from the sprint relay today. This is highlights, and very soon you will also, if you stay here with us, we'll have the prize giving ceremony very soon also from Aarau. But as you said, Thomas, Matthias Kiburz, he finds some difficulties to read the map in the beginning of his leg.
Yeah, he was a little bit extra nervous, I get, in the beginning. Wanted to start very fast and was not careful enough on the map. And that's what he said, that he was not that satisfied with his first part, but after that he found a very good rhythm and running fast and yeah, being very safe in his orienteering.
Mach's. Rivella.
Back in Aarau for the prize giving ceremony after this sprint relay, the last sprint relay for the season, the fourth and last. And the overall World Cup winners is Switzerland. After this win today, Denmark in second and Sweden in third in the overall standings in the sprint relay World Cup 2016. And Thomas, what do you think about the sprint relay? Have it found its format, and what do you think about this kind of competition?
Yes, I think so. As you know, nowadays I'm really observing orienteering a little bit from a distance. I'm still very interested and I follow most of the races. I do that sometimes live, but sometimes also on TV, like the spectators today at home. And I have to say that I personally think that it's really maybe almost the most interesting competition to watch on TV, because it's really a format who takes 1 hour with much intention and really much excitement, and I like it very much. It's easy to follow, you know. As always in relays, the first team wins. That makes it, even for an experienced orienteer, it makes it the most, for me, almost the most interesting format, I have to say. And I think it was a very good decision to introduce it.
And orienteering-wise, it's not that easy, the sprint orienteering.
No, not at all. And you know, that explains also this quite big differences we have spoken about. It's a challenging format, because it combines the intensity of sprint orienteering with the intensity of the relay, and it proves that the very best runners, they can handle that. But as we heard before, even a runner like Matthias Kiburz was a little bit in trouble, but the runners a little bit behind, they make sometimes partly quite big mistakes, which make the even bigger differences in the final. But they will develop, you know. I think in the coming years, I expect that the nations come a little bit closer together, and it would be interesting to follow. But I think it was a very good decision to introduce this format. Yeah.
This is the first of 3 competitions days during this World Cup finals here in Aarau in Switzerland. Tomorrow we have a long distance. While we are waiting here for the press game, Thomas, what kind of area is it tomorrow? Is it very hilly, very steep, or how is it here in Aarau, this long distance area tomorrow?
Yeah, it's will be a typical terrain of this area, what is called the Mittelland, so the land, the country in between the Alps and the Jura mountains. So tomorrow it will be moderately hilly, the terrain, and as it close to these urban areas with Aarau, so it's a forest with quite a lot of forest roads and forest tracks. This will make it interesting for route choices, as you can run much faster on these forest roads than in the terrain. In the forest itself, you had sometimes quite much undergrowth. These blackberries which slow you down while running, and it's I think there is the big challenge tomorrow to do the right decision about the route, to have the good and the correct idea about the green areas. How much does it slow me down? Should I run around or should I go straight? And then of course it's in general still it's fast running. But you have to be precise, because controls in these green areas, they can be quite hidden, and you have to be very precise. And this speed up it and then be carefully into the controls. This might be the decisive elements for tomorrow's race.
Interesting. And talking about the overall standings in the individual World Cup, is almost decided for both men and women, because Tove Alexandersson, Sweden, and Matthias Kiburz, Switzerland, I think they will win, because they have a quite big margin for tomorrow's long distance.
Yeah, and what I know, we have seen it from Matthias, he's in good shape, and recent races of Tove Alexander, has been dominating the Swedish championships a few weeks ago. I think both are ready, and as I know them, they will make it clear in the 2 coming races. Yes, that's almost sure, but yeah.
The Danish team here, Cecilie Friberg Klusne Alm, together with Tue Lassen and Søren Bobak. I think they are a little bit disappointed after this performance today. We are used to see them up there in the top in the sprint relays.
Yeah, it will be quite a long race tomorrow, and you know, usually at the end of a longer season, it's not so easy to have still the very best shape. Usually you're a little bit maybe on shorter races you can still perform very well, but on a long distance you might then lose a bit energy towards the end of the race, and that will be interesting to observe. I think women's side, but also men's side, Alexandersen versus Wieder, but especially also Kiburz and Hupman. And let's see, Lundanes didn't compete today,
no.
So he has made a rest. And also Gustav Bergman, we said before the race, we saw that he doesn't take part in today's relay.
No,
yeah.
He will focus on tomorrow long distance. He is in third spot in the long distance and will keep that position.
Auf dem dritten Platz, nach Abzug natürlich von Schweiz 2, Schweiz 3, haben wir Dänemark 1 mit Silja Friberg-Liesner, Tue Larsen, Søren Bobach und Maja Alm.
So they are not counting the second and third team officially in the World Cup standings. So that's why Denmark up there on the third position on the podium.
But I've read that they will get the prize money. The teams not so. Denmark only gets this World Cup points.
That's right. That's right.
But nothing else there.
So that means that we 60 points. So it's not counting. So 240 points for Denmark in the overall standings. And in second position, the Swedish team with Lina Strand, Emil Svensk, Jonas Leandersson and Helena Jansson. They haven't won any sprint relay this season. This is a second place, and they were bronze medalist in the World Champs in Strömstad. With almost the same team. It was Gustav Bergman at that time, and today is Emil Svensk on the second leg. They are satisfied with that second position behind the big, strong favorite team of Switzerland. Rahel Friedrich, Matthias Kiburz, Daniel Hopman and Judith Vida. The second win this season for Switzerland in the sprint relay. They also won the first one in Wrocław in Poland, the first World Cup round this season 2016. And the new elected president of the IOF, Leo Haldna from Estonia, handed over the prizes for the winning team of Switzerland. And in the end of the day, Thomas, these three countries on top once again.
Yes, no surprise in some way. But we have seen some other teams as well performing well during the race, and it was not that clear from the beginning as we could have thought before. And as they said in the interview, their were some troubles as well for Rahel Friedrich and Kiburz and Hubmann. And I would say, yeah, Judith Wieder was very, very strong on the last leg. Very impressive.
Yeah, that was the end of the story this first day of the World Cup finals here in Aarau in Switzerland. Tomorrow we have the long distance, and on Sunday we have the sprint, individual sprint in the very city center in the old town here in Aarau. And in second spot in the overall sprint relay World Cup, Denmark, Switzerland, Denmark, Sweden, the three first. I haven't seen any overall standings in graphics. Maybe we'll have it soon, hopefully.
Martin Hubmann, the younger brother of Daniel, still be happy, even when he was a little bit behind today. Only in the third team. You know, he was used to be in the first team, but he has finished his studies this year as an engineer, and he was not able to train as much as the years before, but he has announced that he will be back next year with full strength, so we look forward. But he's one of these runners, always a little bit behind, you know, not only few times getting access to the individual races in the World Championships, and on a bit on the longer side, if it's the third, fourth World Championships and you can start only 1-2 times, then it starts to hurt.
And here's the prize giving ceremony for the overall World Cup sprint relay with Sweden and Denmark. Denmark has only used 4 runners during all 4 competitions. The very same team in all the sprint relays. And I think Switzerland will now have all the runners, because Martin Hubmann is also part of this World Cup win.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. He was a member of the team in Czech Republic in the European Championships.
There should be quite many there.
Yeah, here they are. Rahel Friedrich, Judith Wieder, Andreas Kiburz, Florian Hovalt, Martin Hubmann, Daniel Hubmann, and Matthias Kiburz. But Judith Wieder and Rahel Friedrich, they have run all sprint relays.
Yes, yeah.
For the Swiss first team.
Yeah, it's also a bit, let's say, interesting that Judith Wieder, she gives the sprint relay really high priorities. She's a runner who can win individual medals at World Championships, can become, as she did, world champion in individual races, but obviously she finds a lot of interest and lot of fun to prepare these races together with her teammates, and that gives, of course, very good dynamics in a national team. If you have such a runner who is the model for young runners, who says, hey, to run relays together with the men is something fun. I want to do that. I want to contribute to the best performance. That's good. Very good point. Very important for the Swiss team, I guess.
Yeah, congratulations to Switzerland, the overall winners in the Sprint Relay World Cup 2016. So Thomas, I think we say thanks for today, and hope you will join us also tomorrow for the long distance here from the World Cup Finals in Aarau in Switzerland. So we wish you all a pleasant Friday night, and see you tomorrow once again, Saturday, with the long distance here from Aarau. Per Forsberg and Thomas Bührer say thank you and goodbye.
Mach's. Rivella.